Welcome to the Your Little Castle Show, where we highlight the best experts that make your home into your little castle. Let's go! So on the Your Little Castle Show, we do highlight the best realtors in St. Louis. So we've got one right here, Mary Krummenacher.
Mary Krummenacher.
She's got I call her Mary Kay. She says some people do that, but Mary is one of the top experts in the St. Louis area, and we're going to have her on the show here, and we're going to have her talk a little bit about a house she's showing right now to one of her prospective clients here, and they're going to go over about the house a little bit. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi guys, I'm Mary Krummenacher, the Krummenacher team at RE/MAX Results.
I'm Tracy Thru, the owner of this house, and I'm gonna assist Mary here, or Mary's gonna assist me, I guess, on looking around my house.
Yeah, so Tracy invited us over today. It's one of the chapters in life that is not always easy, but this is her parents' home, and we're going to get it ready and we're going to put it on the market. So we're going to kind of talk through the process and where we're at today and some of the steps to get it ready to be market ready.
Very good.
Thanks, Mary.
All right, everybody, stay tuned as we continue through our little tour here, and we'll show you what Mary does to help coach somebody to sell their house. All right, everybody.
Ready? Okay. So one of the challenges, of course, with an estate is the collection of things and what to do with the things. So one of the challenges for the folks who are here liquidating the estate, first and foremost, you just kind of have to go through, take as long as you want, because it's an important chapter to conclude. You know, what are the things that are things you want to keep? What are things that go to other members of the family? And then we can always get somebody in here, because it can be really overwhelming to help then things to donate, things to give away, things to keep. We want to get the house ready for us to do any make ready so that we have it in the best possible light to sell. So step one would be sorting. We can either have family members help you. There are a number of resources of people who specialize in dealing with that as well. So once we do that, then we kind of have more of a blank canvas. At that point, we can decide options, like we talked about. Are you going to sell it as is? Do we want to do some updates? There's always touch-ups at least, or are there cosmetic updates as well? This house is already in tremendous condition. I think most of it, once we kind of get down to the base tax, you're going to find it's mostly cosmetic, is what I would bet.
That's what I thought too.
Cool. Having walked the property, there's going to be a lot of apples to apples, particularly in this neighborhood.
Okay.
So we see, and there were two properties on the comps that I have already kind of run before we met. Those will show, there's two very good ones, and the price points are really pretty attractive. One is $350.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was on.
But we have to compare it to condition. So that's where we're going to want to kind of roll back, look at numbers and effort. And obviously, if it was in move-in condition, it's a premium property. So the chances are we would have to consider a discount or listing it at a discount. It's simple stuff, but in other cases, if you're a little bit more move-in ready, it might be worth the money. Not only in terms of what you're putting in to do the updates, but also time on market. There's another property on the list that I saw that they started, I think they started a little high. They started at $359, they wound up at $335. So then that's where we're going to sit down and look at numbers, time, and effort. You know, if it's what's it going to cost for us to paint? Because a buyer's going to come in and they're going to think it's 2 and 3 times more. Yeah. So it may make more sense for us to do it. That cost becomes an investment, and you get a bit of a return on that, both in days on market and most importantly money. So once we can kind of empty things out and see what we're working with. Carpet, for example, that becomes really subjective. This doesn't look bad. One of the ways we approach is maybe just plan on a carpet allowance if we need it. I wouldn't rip out the carpet, that's a lot. Not only that, you can put one thing down and the next buyer would prefer something else.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So I thought carpet, yeah.
Paint maybe, and there's not much, unfortunately. You can tell you had a fireplace going on because you got a little bit of the smoke up there. I'm wondering if maybe even magic eraser might lighten some of that up for that. So that makes it really easy. But the bones here and the layout is exceptional, and that's going to go a long way, especially having the basement finished, like we talked about.
So that's one of my favorites.
Can we take a
Yeah,
peek of
go ahead.
rooms back here?
And then it has a bathroom.
Oh, nice. So it's a full suite.
Yeah, it has a full suite bathroom, double sink bathroom.
Okay, cool.
Nice jacuzzi tub. This I know needs some work on, but
Well, tile could definitely be updated, or even with a more current vinyl.
yep.
Luxury plant vinyl is,
Okay.
I've seen that in $1 million homes. You know, it's
Yeah,
kind of crazy
yeah.
right now. Again, I think once we get everything out and you clean, you're gonna be
Yeah.
surprised.
And then nice closet, nice.
Oh, we did have a leak. Yeah, well, this is
Yeah.
definitely gonna have to be.
Yeah,
addressed.
I was already well aware of that. Sorry, yeah. This
No
is a nice
apologies.
closet.
Nice. That was just a good space to work with. Cool. But again, the layout, that looks good. I think again, just a really deep cleaning is gonna go a long way.
That's what I thought too.
Let people update things. I mean, this is clearly, it looks like there hasn't been any updates in 20 years.
No, there has not.
So it shows a little bit, but again, I find that most of the buyers are gonna wanna do things their own way anyway, so why do
with
we
you.
take the money on things
Yeah.
unless it really needs it?
Yeah.
They'll probably wanna change fixtures.
Yep.
But give them something to make their own too. Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of pink, yeah.
I sense a theme. Cardinal maybe?
Yeah.
Gee, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Nice. Good sized rooms?
Yeah, like one, like double-sided door. I have like a nice big one.
Yeah. Cool.
And there's another room. Well, this is just like a hall. Oh, sorry, this is like a hall closet.
Mhm.
Double-sided hall closet. We just have so much stuff.
I was
It's
just
hard
gonna,
for me.
just
I
gonna
know,
say
I
that's gonna
just-
be hard.
I know.
You need to bring help in.
I
Do you
do.
have family, friends, or somebody you hire?
Yeah, this is a
It's
nice,
just
this is
too
a nice
overwhelming.
size room too.
Wow.
With another, like with another.
Yeah, really good sized rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So he has kids or whatever, you know, whatever ends up buying is great
Or
for
home
kids.
office.
Or home office. This would be a great home office right here.
You know, I
Out of
minimize for you, so we can see what we're working with. And then what we can do is get some bids on if we were going to update. The updates I'd recommend, obviously paint, particularly paint throughout.
The deck definitely. I think the
Yeah.
deck needs some work done.
Yeah, look for safety issues on that.
Okay.
And probably just good power washing.
Yeah,
and
I got a
see-
power washer guy. We know.
That should take care of that. Fireplace, I've noticed in the past, we would want to offer it as is.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll
Yeah.
find that to find a reason to, we need a liner.
It has a flute. It has a fluty push-up, so it has a flute. But yeah.
So I would prefer, make sure we offer it as if, let them do their thing, because a lot of times they come back and some of the price points on those liners, if there isn't one, and that being, what, we're 22 years, probably not.
Yeah.
We don't want to go with that. I think offering it as is, from what I can see, will probably be acceptable in this market. You might consider, let's see, we're in St. Charles. Yeah, we don't even have an occupancy need here, so you don't have to worry about occupancy. So I would say as is, with maybe some updates if you choose to do it. Paint for one. I would get the carpets cleaned. We'll get a bid for carpet allowance
What does occupancy need mean? You said St. Charles doesn't have an occupancy need.
requirement,
What-
not for residential. I believe the only one they have is if you're renting. And we'll double check on that.
Yeah. Well, this.
Still explain, what does that mean?
Occupancy permits, most municipalities have code enforcement, it's safety. And in order, anytime you sell a property or rent a property, a change of ownership, they require their code guys, their inspectors to come through, and their list of code issues have to pass. It's usually a non-negotiable. It's very typical for the sellers to provide that for the buyers. So the buyers know that is done, they can move right in. It is separate from a buyer's inspection as well.
And this is unincorporated St. Charles. This area is counted as unincorporated
Yeah,
St. Charles.
I just did one. We've done 2 in the last couple months in St. Charles, and I'm 99% positive. I always double check that we don't have to have that. So, we'll do want to check on age systems,
Okay.
see where that is and condition on that. in a scenario like this, we usually give them a home protection plan that's right under $700, and then, you know, when it goes, they can fall back on that. You know, we're not going to replace the systems that are functioning, even if they may be a little bit older.
Okay.
They're working.
Yep.
You're fine. Here's a home protection plan to cover.
Like the air conditioner or the
It's, yeah, the big
furnace,
stuff.
yeah.
Furnace, a hot water heater.
Yeah.
It does cover some of the appliances, and what we can do is we can set up seller coverage before we buy, which doesn't cost you anything. And then if something fails while we're under contract, you can also use it for that. So it's a nice little safety net for you.
You're gonna go down the basement?
Yeah, we got the finished basement.
We do have the finished basement, yeah.
That's exciting. That's going to add a whole ton of value and living space. I love the outdoor between the decks and the common ground. That's going to be a big selling piece.
Yeah, but it has a nice like thing for like an entertainment center and finished ceiling.
I love the ceiling.
I love the bar. The bar's
The bar,
pretty cool
yeah.
too. The bar's cool.
Lots of light down here.
Oh yeah, lots of light. And then you know you got a great bedroom down here. Nice big bedroom.
Okay, this is insane. So we have a whole second primary suite
Yeah, we do.
that bumps up your bedrooms too.
Yeah.
Your bedroom count. That's going to be a huge value add, both in marketability as well as just value.
Yeah.
And you have a bathroom?
Oh yeah, we have a bathroom.
Full bathroom.
Full bathroom, a little nice walk-in shower here.
Look at that shower. Okay, that's super cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool and unique.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the door over here, sorry, it's kind of stuff, but there's a closet here, and then this door goes into the back crawl space. So there's a double way to get into the crawl space back here.
Is that crawl space or is that just storage?
It's a whole storage, not crawl space, but it's like
Storage.
it's like a whole big storage area.
Okay.
I mean, it definitely has a lot in here, but you can just I have my mom's I have all her stuff when she purchased the house.
See, if there's a survey in there, that would be probably good to have.
Okay.
We're not going to do one. We'll need the buyer to do it, but they're going to ask if I have a little bit more detail to say, yeah, here's where that line is. Because that's going to be the only thing, since it's kind of common ground. You know, my hope is theirs ends up there. I don't think so. I really don't. As long as it's structurally sound would be the only thing on that.
Okay.
I've got a good building inspector who would just come out and do a walk and talk, or unless
Okay.
you know somebody you trust, just to make sure it's solid.
Okay.
Again, from a safety standpoint, from a cosmetic standpoint, you know, a power wash and a stain should be fine.
Okay.
Really, it's
All
just
right.
weather worn.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I
As long
thought.
as, you know, these are safe, it's
Yeah.
really solid. So we're only gonna address the stuff that really needs to be addressed. Now here, this would probably be worth the effort. You got wood rock here.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So maybe part of this being the wood is just shaving it or sanding and repainting, and probably just replacing the few pieces on that.
And then like there was some just unfortunately like a little bit of siding right there from like the storm damage.
That's easy to tack in.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that, sure.
So on the set here for the Your Little Castle show, Eliza, we've been working together for a while now. Tell me what you love about what we're doing here.
I just love the energy and the project as a whole. It's a great idea and really gets us connected with the community and helps the community out in a way. It's awesome. What was your, mission or goal that made you start this show?
Yeah, well, I felt like so many people out there, they've got such good products and services and their businesses, but you know, the big guys spend a ton of money on doing what we're trying to bring to the smaller, mid-sized businesses. And just, I felt like there was a need, and now we've seen the response, right? People are like, when can I be on? When can I be on? So we really wanted to just give the opportunity for people to make it known and show what they do and put it in a professional light that just makes everybody look good. And so we want to highlight those people and just make it fun for everybody. And then, hey, take this thing, put it out all over your internet, your social media, your website, everything you can put out there. Gary Vee talks about it in his book, Crushing It. He's got another book called Jab, Jab, uppercut, I think, and it's a reoccurring theme. Essentially, of what I've done as the Cardinal Cowboy, constantly out there, constantly putting things out there, and that helped make the brand that we all know as the Cardinal Cowboy. Tell everybody real quickly, and it was an interesting thing you said to me. We were bringing people into meetings to talk about being on the show, and then finally we got somebody that said, "No, I've never heard of the Cardinal Cowboy." But and you said something funny to me. What was that?
I mean, what rock were they under? Like, how do you not know? He's at every game, and he's a St. Louis legend.
Well, it was funny because you said, that's a first, because literally, it was like 9 people we talked to, and then finally somebody said they hadn't heard of it. And that's just part of the method, help people do what they need to do to get out in front of everybody. Do you agree?
Yeah, most definitely.
Stay tuned for more fun on the Your Little Castle show.
Because cash flow is the key. People, if you knew what mailbox money felt like, you'd run through a brick wall to get it. That's it. So when you see the cash on cash return of a business model like this, the ease of getting in, like if you're gonna buy a piece of property, down payment, you gotta fix it up, inspections, all this stuff. When you rent an apartment, condo, or house, that's all done for you. You get a key and you start doing business the next day. So the low cost of entry and the high cash flow, it's the sexiest business model in real estate investing. And I've done a lot of different things in real estate investing.
Well, before you guys wonder a little bit who this is, but if you ever hear that dun, 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 this is who it is. Dwayne Hilton.
Dwayne Hilton, yeah.
Is the organist, what do they call you? The
Organist.
at the ballpark.
Organist for the St. Louis Cardinals.
For the St. Louis Cardinals. You guys ever heard of them?
I'll be playing this a lot on opening day.
How many of you all felt like you were just at the Cardinal game right there? I mean, that's what it is.
A lot of fun. That's the
Close
sound
your
of
eyes,
it.
You're like, that is it. We're here.
That's the sound.
Very fortunate to have a private little showing here of the song in your studio. Thank you so much, man.
A lot of fun.
Cool stuff.
A lot of fun.
So something I find interesting about businesses these days, there's this little place called the Better Business Bureau. So I did a little research on you guys because we want to have the best of the best on our shows. That's why we've partnered. And your Better Business Bureau ranking is stellar, to say the least. I haven't seen too many people been able to pull this off, but here it is. Archway Contractors, LLC, 4.83 out of 5. That's an A+++. Like, I remember when I was in school, if I got a 90, I got an A. I didn't get many of those, but you guys have like a 99.7 or whatever that number is. Talk about that a little, Sam.
Well,
Is it important to you guys?
It's extremely important because, you know, we strive to be extraordinary. We meet homeowners day in, day out, and, you know, contractors nowadays, they come a dime a dozen. So what we do, we try to set ourselves apart and, you know, be extraordinary, because the way we feel is that it's not about the roof itself. It's more about the people underneath the roof and their families, and that's why we do what we do.
And then when we get a little bit closer, we can do a tighter walkthrough. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
but that's all minimal. That's almost a good handyman. I know most of it. Did before we meet is just kind of look on paper what we have here for your house in terms of what it was made up with and what some of the comps are. So let's see, do we have 3 bedrooms up here?
Yeah, 3 bedrooms.
Okay, so I need to change that when I go back and revisit my comps because
Okay.
you have a better house to sell now.
Okay.
Not to mention all the finished space that you have. If you notice down here, there was no lower level when the home was purchased. So all of that's going to need to be updated when I go back and revisit. But let's just look at regular comps, as you can see in the last year, just in a half a mile radius. And one of the things that is important is to approach it as an appraiser would, because most of the time you're going to have the bank appraise. In this crazy market, some people are waiving appraisals or doing gaps, but I think it's to stay conservative and then let the market push it up. So we have to do that. So when I ran comps, and as we had talked about, we have several over here that have done really well, this one in particular. And keep in mind that's, we have an additional bedroom and bath and finished space. So I think we're going to be able to exceed on that. The only other variable we're going to want to talk about is that condition. As we talked about, I'm going to go do a deeper dive. I'm going to leave you with and I can send it to you in links as well. But these are the homes that we're using as comps. You can kind of get an idea here off the paperwork in terms of what.
Yeah, this one was on this street. Was this one on 805 too, or was that the Clearfield one?
This is 82 Rockledge.
Okay, so this is in the same subdivision, right? I think that one sold this last year, I think.
And I'm going to go into the pictures, and then we're particularly finished lower level. So this one is a little bit more comparable because they have the lower level.
Okay.
And that's going to be a bonus that I'm going to adjust accordingly. And if you see, check that out. That's what you like to see. Look how much they wanted that property. Welcome to a seller's market, guys.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I think we're going to want to decide if we get a number like that and you spend $5,000 in paint. Is it worth that to bump it up? Is it one consideration, and we'll talk about this again before we really make a decision on it, is the buyers are always going to overinflate the cost and they're going to want a lower deduction. That's why a lot of times I think it just makes sense, especially if you can get a quality contractor at a really good price, go ahead and do the work, make it move in ready and make a fight over it. So we can do something like that. Okay?
Explain these numbers. Those are, what's the difference
So
there?
numbers here, the list price, and this one went on the market, let's see, when was this one? One day on market. That was quite the bidding war. In my view, they probably underpriced it at $329, and to show you how crazy our market is, it wound up closing at $410,500. So they set a great new record. It's also a smaller home that we have here. So I would say just numbers alone, not talking about condition yet, that may not be an unreasonable number. Because somebody has already set that as a comp.
With a house with less bedrooms and less bathrooms?
Yeah, according to the things I have here. Now, I do this as preliminary. Now that I've walked the house, know the condition, know the upgrades that you've done since in the last 20 years here. Now we need to refactor that and revisit. The other thing that's going to be really important to look at, as you know right now, there is no competition, as we said. So we're going to want to keep an eye on where things go and adjust accordingly. I'm very confident it's not going to be a buyer's market by any time soon, so you're still going to do well, even if we're 90 days out, closer to spring market. Typically, people think about spring as that, but again, there's still way too much demand. I'm not worried about it. I'd rather take our time and do it right and not feel rushed. And then part of my job will be just keeping a real tab on what's new, what do they sell on, how are the market going up. The cool thing about last year, and this one here certainly indicates that, is average has been 20% appreciation in 2021. I heard a rumor yesterday that somebody who trends it and they think we should only go up another 10%. So that's my job, to keep an eye on that. And then again, we'll take a real hard look before we pull the trigger on making any repairs, and then adjust accordingly.
Thank you, Mary.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
We got Mary here again, and Tracy. Tell everybody what you think we should do with regard to Tracy's house here, what Tracy should do to get the best value for her buck.
We have a terrific property here out in St. Charles County, and the market's certainly favoring us again as a seller. First and foremost is we have to declutter. That's always number one. See where we're really at on any necessary repairs. So what I think we want to do, just to maybe maximize value, is we're going to get some bids just to see either on a credit if we go as is, or decide if it makes more sense for us to do that work ourselves. So painter is what we want to look at. Okay. And then there is some flooring that we want to do, a little bit of the exterior. That's going to be a handyman. So I know we got a lot of good resources for you in terms of getting people to get bids. We're only going to do the work that makes sense. So once we have bids, we have an idea of comps. We know what you have left on the mortgage. We're going to do a seller's nut sheet for you. And what that's going to look like, all the costs to sell the house and what we think we can get on based on the way the market is today, on what a return is. Then we're going to factor in those updates. Now, does it make more sense just to put it on the market as is and see what the market says? Or will we get a better return both in terms of days on market and dollar amount by doing some of that effort? So once we have those numbers, you and I can sit down and look at the numbers and decide what our next steps may be.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Mary.
All right. We'll be back for more fun and excitement on your little castle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks for having me.
Carl.
So St. Louis is a small community where everybody kind of knows each other. A lot of people know that I am also the Cardinal Cowboy. I'll grab my hat over there. Tracy, can you grab the hat for me real quick? And so what we always like to share is how we're all connected. And so my connection with Mary is actually through, here's my Cardinal Cowboy hat, which we carry with me depending where I'm at. And my connection to Mary was through Carrie Robinson. Carrie and I are buddies from obviously a lot of Cardinal stuff. He did a fundraiser for the Little League team to go over to Japan.
They went over to represent USA in Japan 2 years ago.
And Carrie said, Carter, will you show up to our fundraiser as the Cardinal Cowboy? And that's where I met Mary. And Mary's connected with my buddy Dan Luigs, who I grew up with. And then Tracy is a big Cardinal fan. So talk a little bit, if you don't mind, quickly about your connection with the Cardinals and your love for the Cardinals before you ever met the Cardinal Cowboy.
I lucked out and had the opportunity, and I still do, to work with the guys, getting them set up with housing. So been excited to work with them when they come in April, get them set up. A lot of the guys in rentals, some in buying. So I guess over the last 5 years, we worked with about 30 or 40 of the players.
So when you say players, you're talking about St. Louis Cardinals players.
St. Louis baseball Cardinals.
Yeah. Anybody you want to mention that you've actually worked with?
Yeah, well, I'm good friends with the Reyes, Alex Reyes. We work with Carlos Martinez, Miles Michaelis, Stephen Piscotti, who's now in Oakland, to name a few. They keep trading my boys, but usually a new crop every year. So it's been a lot of fun to get to know them on a different level.
Something kind of cool. Like I said, she noticed Tracy has a room here that is decorated as what? Tell everybody.
St. Louis Cardinals.
And that was before any connection with me. So, all right.
It's in the blood if you're in St. Louis.
It is.
Go Cards.
We're all connected.
Cardinals.
That's right. 12 and 22. Cardinals, St. Louis. It's a lot of great things we got going on here, and we're going to highlight it right here on Your Little Castle. Thanks.
Go Cards. Go Cardinals.
Go Cards. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Your Little Castle. If you would like to be on the show, please text us at 636-565-0305. Giddy up.